Hey everyone, welcome back to Off the Cuff Reviews. My name is Alex and today I have a special in a video. We are going to be talking about Anora, the newest film from Sean Baker. So let's get into it. First things first, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background of the movies that I've seen from Sean Baker. I've seen a lot of them. I've seen Tangerine. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen Tangerine. I've seen Anora, obviously. Florida Project, Red Rocket. Am I missing? I might be missing some. But the Florida Project, when I first watched it, I thought that the Florida Project was one of my favorite movies, and it's been in my top letterboxed top 4 since I saw it. And I love that because I thought that movie was fantastic. And with that said, I feel like Sean Baker has only gotten better. Now, one thing I didn't like about Sean Baker was Red Rocket. What in the fuck was Red Rocket, okay? Guys, I do not like Red Rocket. I'm just gonna put it out there. Red Rocket was not great. It was not great. It was really not good. Okay, but let's. I know that's just my personal opinion, but let's kind of dive into Anora because I thought this movie was pretty good. I thought this was. I thought this was. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay, so. Anora stars Mikey Madison in the titular role, and the movie is about a stripper who has a fling and ends up on like a wild ride after that. And there's a lot more to the story, but I don't really want to get into spoilers, so I just kind of wanted to leave it at that. You can go watch the trailer for a little bit more in depth like preview of what the movie is going to be like. In my opinion, even with the subject matter, talking about strippers and flings and all that, and Anora, to me at least, is Sean Baker's most commercial film to date. I feel like most people can like get into this movie. They'll find something that they like in this movie. They can resonate with this movie a little bit more. It just seems like this movie has more of an appeal to a larger audience than some of his other projects. And like this definitely has the same flair and vibe as some of his other projects, where a lot of Sean Baker's work has like been slice of life type movies, and this one is really no different than that. But I mean, like I said, it is a little bit more commercial than the other ones. And the thing is like slice of life movies can be commercial like this one, but I feel like slice of life movies end up being more personal, more experimental, more out there. They're kind of like not really, the narratives don't really get like closed up at the end a lot of times, and a lot of like the people who liked, like the general audience of movies, they would like to have like a beginning, middle, and end to the movie, whereas like some of these slice of life movies, especially with Sean Baker, they kind of leave like a little bit open-ended or like make you think about what you're watching. And like Anora definitely makes you think about what you're watching, but if you're just like gonna go into it and like look at it from like the just face value, what this movie is, like the beginning, middle, and end, like there is a beginning, middle, and end, and I feel like that is what makes this movie more commercial. And there's not like any kind of like crazy narratives of like going into the past and going forward and going back and doing all of that. This is just like a straightforward, this is what's happening in this movie, boom, 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 first act, second act, end. And I like that. Yeah, I even though this movie I felt like was a little long, and that is one of the drawbacks for me. That's why I didn't say this movie was like perfect by any means. There's definitely like a lot to like about this movie. Like I said, Sean Baker's kind of known for that slice of life type vibe that he brings to movies. And like movies like Tangerine and The Florida Project, those definitely have like a way more experimental vibe, and they definitely have like more like slice of life elements in them. And this movie, Anora, definitely has that identity throughout, and I do enjoy that. I feel like if you are coming into Anora with the no pun intended, with the with like the like knowledge of how Sean Baker directs his movies and writes his movies, and you go into this movie thinking like, oh, like I actually like the way you know, Sean Baker writes his movies, you will understand where I'm coming from with this when I say like you will enjoy this, even though it is like a little bit more commercial than the other movies. You will definitely understand what I mean if you go and watch his other movies and then you watch Anora. But that doesn't mean that this movie doesn't have those other elements. That's what I'm trying to convey to you, that it does have those other elements that you come to know and love from Sean Baker's writing and his directing style. Just like the way that he frames shots and the narrative that he's trying to tell and the way that he tells stories. It definitely is there. That's definitely like, this is like what you would get from the director of The Florida Project. You know what I mean? Even though it is also like a movie that has a beginning, middle, and end, and like really is like a narrative, like a more commercial narrative than that. I feel like this movie is perfect. And it comes down to mainly the performances for me. The main male actor in this movie, listen, I know that like in the movie, without spoiling anything, he is supposed to be like a guy that's like kind of shitty. But the thing is like, I just don't buy him as an actor. I don't like, at least in this movie specifically, I did not like his performance. I did not buy into it. I did not like it. I didn't like, him on screen was just blah to me. You could have replaced him with any other white guy and it would have been the same thing. You could have put Timothée Chalamet in there and it would have been the same thing. In fact, probably would have been worse because Timothée Chalamet sucks horribly and I hate him as an actor. But yeah, that's a hot take, by the way. But yeah, I just felt like the performances, like in that side of things, like I just didn't really like that part. I thought that held the movie back a little bit. Also, I loved Mikey Madison in this movie. I feel like this isn't even her best work yet. I feel like this is her best work to date out of all the things that she's already done that we've seen. But I feel like she has more in her coming up. I feel like if somebody is able to give her like a really nice, serious, dramatic role, that I feel like she could bring like a flair, like she could bring something to it that other people can't. I feel like she is a really good actress, and I feel like she held back during this movie. That is one thing that I noticed, at least for me, at least I felt like I saw potential. Like, I saw moments in this movie of brilliance. And then I saw moments where it felt like she was holding back for some reason. And I don't know if it was like the director, like Sean Baker, or somebody was like, hey, just like kind of tone it down a little bit, or what. Or maybe she just, it was in her own head and thought that. I'm not totally sure about that. But I think that like, I feel like there is more that she could do in a performance. That doesn't mean that it was bad. In fact, I think that she outacted every single other person in this entire movie. I thought she was a star. She was amazing in this. But like I said, I just feel like there is like another level that I feel like she can get to, that like I feel like even right now she can be there. It's just like maybe she needs like a different role, but I feel like she just really, like, in my opinion, she really embodied this role. She was really great in it, and I wouldn't have picked any other actress to be in it. I honestly, like, I didn't know what I was going to feel when I went into this movie and I saw Mikey Madison on the cast list. I didn't know like how I was gonna resonate with this, but I really do love her in this role. I thought she was infectious every time she was on the screen, and she like really hammered home, and maybe that's just part of the script or what, but they like really hammered home like the name Anora and Annie, as she likes to be called in the movie, and I just thought that was like really cool, and I don't know, I just really like this movie. I feel like it's a really great film. Like I said, I feel like Mikey Madison, she's magnetic when she's on the screen. Like every time she's on the screen, you're like glued to the screen. What is she gonna say next? Where is she gonna go? Like, she has like this aura about her that is just a little bit different than other people out there right now, and I feel like that's like cool. I want to see her in more things, and I feel like I said, I just feel like she has the potential to like really like step out of the box here and make something amazing. Now for Sean Baker, I feel like this movie is his magnum opus. I feel like everything that he likes to put into a movie came together to make this movie the best version of a Sean Baker movie that you can get. It had the funny elements, the comedy elements, it had the heartbreaking elements, it had everything that you would need to really enjoy this. It had the performances. That is like something that I feel like Sean Baker is great at. It had cinematography that was like really like what you would come to know from Sean Baker. This is like a Sean Baker movie through and through, but like I said, I feel like this is his most commercial film to date. I feel like this is his magnum opus. This is everything that he's like ever like come out with, put into one movie. It had the slice of life elements. It had like that tension building where people are talking over each other, like in Uncut Gems, for example, or he even did that in Tangerine. He did that shit in Tangerine, where people are talking over each other and it's creating some form of tension. I really like that. He had that in this movie as well, on top of like the comedic elements and like the just like, you know, the comedic relief that was needed there for these tension building parts of the movie. And I feel like he's just like getting really good at that. This is like, I just feel like this is everything that you would come to know about Sean Baker and expect from him as a filmmaker. This is it. This is the movie. I don't think he's going to stop making movies. That is also not what I'm saying, and I don't think that like he's just going to be a shitty filmmaker from now on. I think that he still has a lot left in him, and I feel like he can grow, and he's going to, but I just feel like he's going to do things where he probably dials it back down to do something a little bit more experimental next time, something a little bit like along the lines of like a Florida Project. I could be totally wrong, and maybe he goes in a totally different direction, but that's what I feel like. If I was him, that's what I would do, because I feel like this movie, Anora, is his magnum opus. I just feel like this movie is easy to get into. There's elements of like even the Florida Project where it's not as easy to get into. You can tell like there's things about some of his movies that just like are not there fully for like a commercial audience, whereas I feel like this movie specifically has those elements. And Sean Baker's movies have like comedy elements in them, but I feel like this movie specifically ramped that up. This movie has jokes. This movie has elements that are just straight up just there to be funny, not there to set up a plot line, nothing else, just to be funny in that specific scene, and that's it. And I like that. I like the little lines that they're dropping here and there that are just funny comedic elements, and I thought that he did a really good job at that. That is something I feel like, even though he did have some humor in his other movies, I feel like the humor was more like maybe to set up a plot or something like that, whereas this is more like there's humor to set up plot lines, but this was more of like just straight up like funny to be funny. There's more to this movie than meets the eye. There's more than like I'm even really touching on here in this short video that I'm making. I feel like you should go into this with an open mind. I actually went into this movie without watching a single trailer. I tried to avoid trailers. I try to avoid trailers for any kind of movie I want to watch now. Unless it's just like something stupid like Terrifier, which like, you know what I mean, that's fine. But like if it's something like Anora, then I definitely don't want to get spoiled on what this movie is going to be about. And yeah, I liked going into it without knowing, but that is partly why I wanted to make this video, so you guys didn't have to get spoiled too much of what is going to be in the movie narratively, and you guys could come to like know what to expect from the movie regardless, you know. And there are moments, by the way, in this movie that are hard to, or not hard to watch, but like are like more tough, especially if you're like a little bit more sensitive. I know there's some people out there that are a little bit more sensitive to certain topics. So yeah, just be wary of that. Like, there are definitely some sensitive topics that they touch on in this movie, so just be mindful of that. But this movie, I feel like, definitely deserves to be seen. This most commercial movie yet. I feel like it's a lot more easy to get into than some of his other movies, and there's a lot to love. And I feel like Mikey Madison definitely deserves more eyes on her. I feel like she's a great actress, and I can't wait to see more. I feel like she can really nail like a dramatic role, and I want to see that from her. And I don't mean like some stupid bullshit to get her fucking Oscar nominated bullshit, like hillbilly elegy nonsense. I'm talking about like an actual movie that's gonna be fucking good. Give her a good script. She deserves it. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching this video. This is a little bit of a longer movie review from me. I haven't really done a sit-down movie review like this in a while, and it's mostly due to the fact that I have a podcast, and yeah, I just wait to talk about the movies on my podcasts. And I wanted to actually touch on this since it's the holidays. We're not really doing our podcasts right now, so I just wanted to kind of come on here and talk about this movie. This is one of my favorite movies that I've seen right now, and I feel like it's really good. I feel like everyone should go give it a chance. There you go. There you have it. That was my review of Anora. Go check it out. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Oh, also, let me know what you guys think down below. Before you go, drop a comment, drop a like, whatever. Let me know what you guys thought of the movie down below, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. They call me a god. 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 Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon, fuel to the top.